YouTube, Twitter, Fencer, Princess, SoundCloud, SoundClick. This one goes out to Supreme Allah. You guys don't forget to check out my album Just Right There on Spotify. Just Google Just Right There. Tell them to come up. You'll see my projects anyways. So Supreme Allah was talking about how J.R. Smith, he was talking about J.R. Smith's deal with the Cavaliers and how it was supposed to, how J.R. wanted a long-term deal of 15 million, of a 15 million annual contract. That's just not going to happen. Listen, okay, here's a conundrum that Cleveland is in. They went over the cap by $22 million. And J.R. Smith also has an agent who is known for holding out. And I mean, when I say holding out, I mean holding out until like the middle of the season, like holding out, like this dude, you know. So, you know, there's two situations there. There's two entities there. And this is, and then when you look at J.R. Smith himself, what he's done for Cleveland, uh, Cleveland said, look, we wouldn't have won the championship if we did not have him. And as you read further down, you'll see that the real reason why they're even still consider, okay, for one, they can't go out and fish and get somebody else to try to replace him. So it's just a situation where it's like give the guy what he wants or give him part of what he wants. And they're like, it's not even the money, it's the longevity. Like, we don't want to give you an annual $15 million contract, you know, because we just won the championship. We don't want to do that. Nonetheless, he's a valuable player. You know, he's a key player. And here's the caveat: LeBron James wants him. I mean, LeBron James said what he said a couple months ago, or a month or so ago, when his deal got done. He made a video and said, "Let's get J.R. Smith done." I mean, he let them know. Look, if you go back with LeBron James' history with Cleveland, before he left Cleveland and went to Miami, LeBron James had one big complaint: there's nobody else around me. He had some players, but they weren't key players. They weren't marquee players. They weren't players who were making a splash. They just weren't good enough to get LeBron past just getting to the playoffs. And he knew that. He was like, look, you guys have to do something. Like, I want my ring. You know what I mean? Like, I know how good I am. I know I am the MVP of all MVPs simply because of the value that I bring everywhere he goes. The value of the city, the value of the team, it just raises because of his ticket sales. He's such a vibrant, key player, and and he knew that. So, you know, of course, he went to Miami. Boom, look what happened. Won a championship. Won two championships. And you know, and then he comes back to Cleveland, wins another championship. But that's because he had Love, Irving, and he had Smith around him. So when LeBron James says he wants something, especially when he's bringing in what 500 mil a year into your city, you you're not gonna play around with that, because you don't want the people of Cleveland, who hasn't had a championship in 52 years, looking at you and blaming you when LeBron James decides, you know what, I'm leaving next year. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm done. Here, take your money. I'm leaving. You know, I'm going where I know I'm going to win a championship. You don't want that conversation. You don't want it as a manager. You don't want it as a coach. You don't want it as a GM. You don't want that conversation. You don't want to hear the people scoffing at you and TP in your house. You just don't want that. You got to understand the passion behind the Cleveland fans. You know, the Cleveland, and when LeBron James left, like I said, the economy went down. You know, people lost jobs. You know, there was some desolate times. You know, when LeBron James came back, look what happened. Money came pouring back in the city. They built it back up. It is what it is. So you don't want to ignore that. So this is the reason why J.R. Smith is still there, but they still have the salary cap problem because they can't go out and get nobody else, and I don't think they will, even if they could. And we're just gonna see what's gonna happen. You guys already know. I think it's just a bunch of prima donna bullcrap myself. Uh, when you look at some of what the commissioner was talking about, and how they're pretty much gonna raise the salary cap. is what they're going to do. And then you listen to Stephen A. Smith, and he was on his own channel when he was talking about how these 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 average or slightly above average players were making hundreds of millions of dollars in a contract. He was like, it dilutes the game itself. The game is not even real anymore. Like when you see KD jump ship and go from OKC to freaking Golden State, you're like, where's the loyalty? Like, where's the love of the fans? It's just not there anymore. That's why I tell you it's fixed. So I don't know. You guys, you can watch it if you want to. I'm just not. I'm not going to watch any of it. I'd rather watch highlights just so I can get material to talk to you guys about and tell you what I think about it. But it's just not real anymore. So you know, that's what I think. I think J.R. Smith is going to stay. I do not think he's going to get a long-time annual contract. Um, I think what they're going to do is probably give him a reasonable 3 or 4 year contract. I doubt if it's going to be 15 million. Highly doubt it, because just think, if LeBron James leaves, where does that leave J.R. Smith? So that's just what I think about it. I mean, I think they'll trade him as soon as LeBron James leaves. It's your boy Tone 202. Peace.